Welcome back to Grown Quality. My name is Elian, and boy, do we have something to discuss. Because something has happened with PayPal. Now, last week I made a video about PayPal going over the issues the stock is facing and why it just simply wouldn't go up. Now, you may have already seen it in the share price, but something happened, and the stock did go. It went even up almost as much as it went up on earnings. So something big happened here. And I got a big statement to make regarding it. But for this statement, you will have to wait to the end of the video. Now, what happened? So, what happened was that PayPal took part in the BofA Global Technology Conference. Now, this happens more often, but what was special about this one is that Alex Chris went himself. The CEO went, and that's not very common for these type of events, especially not with all these larger companies. Now, the event was Wednesday after the markets closed, and on Tuesday there will be another conference, this time the RBC Financial Technology Conference, and that's where the CFO, Jamie Miller, goes. So after the fireworks of Wednesday's conference, I will for sure be looking at that one because well, they can build on each other. But first, what actually happened? And this is a part taken from my website, from the article, the intro. And basically, during the BofA Technology Conference, PayPal was represented by Alex Chris. This was an incredibly insightful conference, and it's highly advised to listen to for all PayPal holders. Now, I do really mean this because, well, you can see it in the share price. Something has happened there. Things were said there. And we're going to go into it. But the interview started with Chris stating that he took over at PayPal 8 months ago. And that his first priority was to create a world class leadership team. With this leadership, the next objective was to continue with innovation and the velocity of innovation as he continued to focus on profitable growth and focus on the customer. This was, of course, not all that was said, so let's see what was most notable from the interview. Now, that was taken from the article I wrote about it on my website, but why is this important? Well, the importance comes from the fact that PayPal stock seems to be stuck under $67, $65, and all of a sudden it popped up by more than 5%. And if you remember, last week I made a video going over all the issues PayPal is facing. So I'd highly advise you look at that one as well. But the stock was stuck there. And all of a sudden it pops up there out of nothing. Most of the time these conferences don't really do anything for the stock or barely anything. And this is a major, major move. Especially since the stock has been selling down since the earnings call. After the earnings release, the stock went from $70 where it opened all the way down to 61 and a half, almost 62. That area is where it bottomed out, and now it just popped up back to 67. Now, as there are plenty of other channels that just went through the script or the transcript of the conference, or maybe even took highlights from the webcast, that's not really what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is take you through my article and give you further explanations of my opinion of it, because there were some real gems given. So let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see, I already named or gave it the title of a conference that could be the start sign. And the claim I want to make here is that this could very well be the start sign of the reversal, that the bottom has been seen in the stock, and that from here on out, given there are no any black swan events or something going wrong in the business, the stock will go up from here. The re rating will start to happen. And this is what investors have been waiting for, have been looking for, and has basically been the 8 month wait since Alex Chris has taken over. But the first part I already went over with you guys. And the second part is the monetization, because that is what this was a lot about: monetization and innovation. So Chris explained how they gave how they have grown a lot in the unbranded checkout. Now the unbranded checkout, that's mainly Braintree. But that it is now time to take the innovation, the value added services, and the proof points into the markets and price to value in order to drive profitable growth and the process with the processing as well. I said that this sounds like he wants to put a brake on the slipping take rates and stabilize them. He really sounded as if it wasn't going to, well, decrease prices, give special prices, things that we know they have done with Braintree in order to grow the product. He really sounded like he was going to say, we're not going to do that anymore. Pricing and talks of pricing aren't fun. These were his words basically. But we have done so much to add value, and we can give the customer or the potential customer so much in terms of added value that we're not going to take any more, or we're not going to give any more pricing. We want to price to value, and he sounded really convinced like they have got a lot of value to add, and they added a lot of value in the product. So, like they were going to be more aggressive with taking price. Venmo is another place where monetization needs to happen. It is a great product, but as Chris says, the customers are looking for something to replace the banking experience: money in, money out. The issue is that the money goes out too fast and doesn't really come in quick enough because it has been made too difficult to get the money on the platform. PayPal is looking for multiple ways to make sure that customers keep their money on the platform in order for PayPal or Venmo to make money from it. Now, remember with PayPal as well, they got uh, additional income, or I don't really know how they call the line item, but they make or they earn interest income on money that's stored on the platform. So with PayPal, I believe it's around 40 billion that's just sitting there on the platform, and they can do things with it. They can shift it around a bit. They can put something into treasuries or money market funds just to earn them an income, because, well, that's just how banking basically works. They got the money there on the platform. And this is also more of what they want with Venmo. Make sure the money stays on the platform for longer. This is what Chris has been saying, well, far more often than just this time here. The money goes out too fast because there isn't really a use case for it to stay on there. On the money making part, Chris and the team is consciously taking a top to bottom look at the products in the portfolio to determine which products have to go and which products can stay. He was quite harsh about this, because this could mean that some products are dropped that may be important for some customers, but simply don't make sense from a business perspective. Okay, you have a business to run. And basically, he said it very direct. We're gonna do what makes sense for the business, even as that comes at the cost for some customers, or at least some of the products they like to use. Now, in terms of other comments that were given, I said that I wanted to touch on the fact that Chris casually dropped the notion that a mid-sized airline CEO gave him a note that says he has never seen a more exciting conversion lift than they are currently seeing with Fastlane. Now, remember, Fastlane was one of the innovation that came in the Shock the Investor announcement in January. Last week in my video, I also explained why I call it the Shock the Investor announcement, but this is the way I call it. Going back to that note, this is extremely bullish for that innovation. And what he said is that they are currently in beta, which is important for two reasons. And with this, I mean PayPal is in beta with Fastlane. The first is to test the product and to see if the improvements in conversion they expect to see are true. This is, of course, important for the promises they make to the customer. The second reason is to create demand for the product so it can have a good launch when it will be launched in the second half of the year. I know it says quarter there, it's second half of the year. Chris is actively creating demand for the Fastlane product. They see incredible conversion upticks with it, and he is really hyping up that product towards potential customers for it. And that's a really good thing. He understands how to sell this, he understands how to get it to the markets. But just let me give you my opinion on it as how I wrote it down. Because in this interview, we saw Alex Chris as we saw him at the first earnings call, but in a 2.0 version. I've seen comments after the second earnings call that Alex Chris wasn't as sharp, as locked in, as focused as he was in his first earnings call. Now, that wasn't true for this conference. The determination in his voice, the certainty about how to move forward and how to create value for the customer, that was incredible to listen to. He really knows what he's doing. He knows how to get this business going. He knows the next steps, not just one step ahead. He knows 5 steps ahead. He knows exactly where he wants to take this company and how to get there. He says 2024 will be a transition year, and that's just not for the numbers, I think, because the numbers are great. This is for the entire business to shift around his vision, because we know he has been changing out the entire leadership team. Almost all executives have been or are gone, and he has placed new ones in there. He's taking new leaders for the ads business, for for Venmo, he took the marketing director from Cash App and he basically stole him. So people want to work with Alex Chris and they want to follow his leadership and his vision. But going back to the article, this is reflected in the stock price because this was the Shock the World event that was originally scheduled 6 months ago. And I truly believe so because this is where all the doubts about the event in January were gone. This was the locked in version, the visionary, the the leader that people missed in that event. One last gem Chris dropped was that they expected low double-digit EPS growth for Q2. And when asked if they were going to make that or how they saw it going, he said, "Yeah, I think we are now slightly ahead of that mark." So they are basically what he said is you can expect us to beat that number. Now, by how much we don't know. It might be low to mid double digits. It might be mid to high double digit. We don't know. But low double digit EPS growth, they are slightly ahead of it. And as I stated here, I'm just going to say it. I think it could very well be that this event has shifted the trajectory of the stock. Because if this won't shift the trajectory of the stock, I don't know what will. I don't know what will have to be done. We saw once again a true leader here, someone that knows where he wants to take the business and he knows how to get it there. Given no Black Swan events will happen, I think the bottom has been seen for PayPal and that we will not go back under $60 again. That's my prediction. I hate people that do predictions, but I'm giving one here. Now, if you want to receive those articles as the one we just went over and giving more of my opinion about it, giving more of my opinion about events that are taking place in the markets, going over, all kinds of growth stocks basically, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter, the morning market feed. Because on Monday, Tuesday, I will send you a newsletter going over the latest news for the growth stocks I'm tracking. Basically, stocks on my watch list or ones I'm keeping an eye out for. Then on Wednesday, you will receive a stock analysis, one growth stock that I just go over to see what I think of it. And then on Tuesday and Friday, you will receive another morning market feed and thus another newsletter. So make sure to subscribe for that if you're interested in it. And if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. And having said that, I want to thank you for watching. Bye.